Hi, I'm Pat LaBine, VP of Engineering for Enjin. I've been making games for 18 years and have spent most of my career at BioWare as a programmer, technical director, and producer, working on Jade Empire, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and the upcoming game Anthem. Most recently, I was a senior producer at IO Interactive working on Hitman. This is my first time in Korea, and I'm really happy to be here and meet all of you.
Good morning, I'm Roger Walco. I'm also really happy to be here. Korea is really cool. It's my first time here. I like it a lot. I feel right at home. I'm also a longtime game developer. I use this one. Thanks. I've been a game designer for about 25 years. I've worked at a lot of companies like BioWare, Activision, and EA. And I've also done a lot of mobile and a lot of VR stuff, almost all of which was done in Unity. So I personally love Unity. We use it a lot. In fact, a lot of our team that works under Pat are all Unity guys who've been in Unity since the beginning, and it's our choice as like the pro tool. So it's kind of nice to be here, adding a plugin to Unity and kind of going in the other direction.
Enjin serves a community of over 20 million users. Our ICO raised over 75,000 ETH with over 18,000 backers. Today, Roger and I are here to give you a quick run through of how the platform works and how blockchain facilitates a new concept in games for everyone, true item ownership. Blockchain is storming onto the scene and is fueling a new wave of innovation across many, many domains. This is the biggest thing to happen to the internet since the dawn of social media. As game developers, knowing about this technology is critical to our future success. I predict that within 5 years, all games will use some sort of blockchain technology, whether it be for player identity, items, or the games themselves being on the blockchain. The future is in your hands. Users want to move away from centralized platforms. They want choice and real ownership. They want more control over the content they bought and where they use it. Why should items like skins I have in Overwatch be locked to a single platform? Why can't I trade skins with my friends? Content creators want more ways to monetize their content, and they too want more control over their creations. As a game developer, if I could easily distribute my content with the help of the blockchain, I have more choice and control over how my content works on various platforms. Blockchain technologies like Enjin help with these sorts of problems, but also provide many key benefits over traditional digital distribution technologies. It's win-win for both developers and player alike. Thankfully, projects like Enjin are here to help, but what is it? Enjin is an ERC20 based Ethereum token and smart contract platform for game developers that helps you create and manage digital assets. Enjin tools are all free and are deeply integrated into Unity 3D. You'll be able to pull it down from the asset store and use it just like any other Unity asset. Our tools are designed to be easy to use and to allow you to quickly get onto the blockchain without needing any specialized knowledge. By providing free frameworks for you to help you integrate blockchain into your work, you could focus on your strategy for blockchain instead of having to develop the underlying technology. In a way, we'd like to think of Enjin as the Unity 3D for the blockchain. Let's dive in. We're going to pretend to be a hypothetical game developer in the Enjin ecosystem. Along the way, Roger and I will show you how things work. To give you a bird's eye view, think of Enjin as a cycle. The cycle is 1. Acquisition. Developers buy some Enjin This is the raw material for everything in the ecosystem. 2. Minting. Developers design game tokens and imbue them with Enjin 3. Gaming. Players acquire the tokens and use them in games for various functions. 4. Trading. Players trade tokens amongst each other. And 5. Melting. Players recycle tokens they don't want back into Enjin coin. So let's dive into the steps in detail now. Step 1, acquisition. Let's say we're a small indie game team and we have a game called Enjin Quest. It's an action RPG like Diablo, but we want items in this game to be on the blockchain. We naturally select Enjin coin as our blockchain technology. Enjin's white paper states that 10% of all tokens are reserved for marketing and strategic partnerships, 100 million Enjin coins. Let's say we apply for a partnership with Enjin via their partner program. Because we are awesome, Enjin selects us as a partner and awards us with 100,000 Enjin coin to help us get our game onto the platform. If we were just a regular developer, we would have to go to an exchange like Binance to buy the Enjin coin to create our tokens. Roger is going to show you how Enjin is sent from one person to another with our wallet. Yeah.
Hello? 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 So before I can kind of explain to you guys this hypothetical situation where one wallet talks to another wallet to exchange funds, I have to explain to you what the wallet is. And I'm going to bring it up here on my mobile device. So this is our smart wallet. This is a representation of what you'll see on my screen. It's basically a ultra-secure mobile app that acts kind of as the gatekeeper for things that you might have on your blockchain. Now, most mobile wallets store cryptocurrency, such as Ethereum, Bitcoin, or our coin Enjin. However, and this is the first time that anybody's really ever done this, first time we're showing it, our wallet also stores game objects. We're going to be getting into this. So when Pat was referring to tokens, this means a magic sword, an armor, a race car, something rare and collectible, and we store them on the blockchain using the Ethereum standard. But more importantly, you might think that, oh, he's got this mobile app, and the objects are stored in there. Or you might think that there's a server somewhere, and the objects are stored there. But that's not how blockchain and the Ethereum standard works, and that's actually what's so cool about our technology, is that this app basically acts as kind of a, what's the word I want? Kind of a explorer for the blockchain. It's talking to the Ethereum network all over the world where there's hundreds of users doing mining and verification and seeing, hey, what is in Roger's treasure chest, right? Is there cryptocurrency in there? Is there game objects in there? Really, nobody has done this before, so I'm very, as a designer myself, I'm super excited about the features this unlocks. So, when an object is passed from one secure wallet to another, it basically talks to this Ethereum network all over the world, verifies the transaction, does Roger really have that, or does my company really have that, and then it looks at your wallet or the developer's wallet. So getting onto the specific example, just so you can understand later how we create game objects on the blockchain and how we trade them with each other and how they're used in gameplay, the first thing we need to do is look at the basic of passing some money around. Because you might think of game objects that are created on blockchain as like a gold coin or a magic sword, but it's created from some kind of raw currency or raw fuel. And that's how we're going to start off. So in Pat's example, this screen represents the wallet at Enjin Corporation, basically probably controlled by, say, our CFO. And this represents not an end user, not a player, but the developer's wallet. So you could think of this as your treasure stash, right? And now I'm going to go up to the podium and switch gears and show you how it works. Okay. Can you make this start for me, Pat?
You just have to,
Oh.
yeah.
space.
Look at it over there.
Oh.
That's why.
Yeah, I got it. All right. So what you can see here is that let's imagine that you, the developer, on the right, have won a grant, and Enjin is going to award you with some Enjin coin. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to know who we're sending to. Each wallet has a public and private passkey. So we're going to use a QR code to quickly identify who we're sending the funds to. Okay? Now you can see, I've retrieved the person's, actually it's the studio, right? It's the Dev Studio's wallet. I've retrieved their public passkey. I'm going to tell them how many coins I want to send them. I believe it's going to be 1,000. Okay? Then I hit go, and I need to put in some information to verify the transaction. Because remember, we're passing around a valuable asset here. Probably the financial officer in either company wants to control this. And once we put it in, the wallet is going to securely talk to the blockchain. We find in real life with a good network, this takes about 10 seconds to go from one wallet to another. And about approximately that much time later, you'll see the funds show up in you, the developer's wallet. Come on, baby. There we go. And that's how passing Enjin coin works. As you need to understand that it's kind of the foundation of everything else we're going to do. Back to you, Pat.
All right, great. So now we have some Enjin coin, and now what we need to do is make some custom tokens for our game. Minting is the fancy term for turning Enjin coin into custom tokens for a game. If the concept is boggling you, it's no different than paying for the raw materials like metal to forge swords. Our designers use the Enjin coin to craft our tokens based on the type of items we want in our game. They determine the number of each token we will create and how much Enj we want to use in each token. For example, we might create only a few thousand legendary Vorpal swords and decide they are worth 15 Enjin apiece, about $4 USD. In contrast, we will make millions of common rusty swords and price them at 0.1 Enjin coin each, fractions of a cent. Regardless of the item, all of the items are backed by Enjin coin and have a minimum value based on how much Enjin was used to create them. Once minted, these are real items on the blockchain. Here is an example of designing tokens for a collectible card game based on Magic the Gathering. In this example, our designers decide to create a token strategy based on the card's rarity. If you look at common cards, you will see that we are making 40,000 of each common card and backing them a 0.005 Enjin each. By contrast, we are only making 5,000 of each legendary card, but are backing each legendary card with 0.5 Enjin coin each. As you can see, all in, we will be making around 11 million tokens for our game. If Enjin coin is 10 cents per coin, then this would cost about $15,000 US worth of Enjin to create all the card tokens for our game. Well, let's create some tokens in Unity to show you how it works. So we're going to have another video, and Roger's going to show you how things roll.
All right. You got me?
Just get past this one.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Let's pause here. Okay, so one of the things as a longtime Unity user myself that's really important to me if we want all the developers to adopt our technology is that it plugs right into you. It's already plugged into Unity. We're an official partner with Unity, and it's just in there. You don't have to write any code. You don't have to do anything weird. In fact, as a game designer and not a coder, I used to be a coder. That was a long time ago. I don't have to write any code to access the blockchain. So it's basically a standard snap-in panel window, just like the
global illumination.
Global illumination or any of the other inspectors in Unity. And typically, this is kind of a big one, so we often put it to a second screen or on a laptop so it's all smashed together here. So there's a lot of functionality you're going to want to do. And depending on what type of game you want to make, we put all of the parameters in the developer's hands. Enjin doesn't want to control that. We want to give you the tools to do whatever you want. So for instance, does your game have the ability for players to trade objects or not? Is there an in-game currency like Angry Birds has, stars or whatever, or not? All these kind of things are under your control. So as we roll forward, what we're going to do here is we're going to basically make some game objects, or what we call tokens. I like to think of tokens. In fact, we're actually trying to find the perfect word for this, and it eludes us in the English language. So maybe you guys in Korea can help us come up with the perfect word. But the idea is basically think of a token as like a plastic coin or a fake coin, like a poker chip, right? That you can then stamp and say, hey, you are now a legendary sword, or you are this or that. So it's an object that can be passed around on the blockchain that is a game object. So what we're going to do is we're going to let the video roll. You can see we're going to navigate over to the token section, and we're going to be doing what's called minting. Now later on, we'll look at all the analytics. You can review all of the objects that you've created as a studio, who owns them, all this kind of stuff. But for now, we're going to be setting up all the different parameters, and we're going to be creating some, let's just say, game cards for Pat's game called Ethercats. Ethercats. And we're going to make 1,000 of them all at once. Okay? Now remember, what we're basically doing here is we're also going to pick an image to say that's that. We're going to basically be turning those Enjin coins that say got granted from Enjin to your studio into game objects. So that's why you needed to understand sort of the basis of it all. As a designer, the part that interests me the most is the game objects. That's what I'm after. And later on, we'll also see how this unlocks a lot of neat revenue streams and gameplay features for designers, because players are going to be able to collect and trade these things. It turns any, when I saw Ready Player One, did you guys have Ready Player One out in Korea yet? Ready Player One? No? Okay. Anyway, a lot of the things you see in Ready Player One can be brought to life using Enjin. So anyhow, here we are.
Want me to roll?
Yeah, roll it. We've told now the blockchain that we want to convert these Enjin coins into game objects, which we call minting. This is the wallet of one of the officers at the studio. And look, it's asking, please approve this for me. Do you really want to turn that money into Ethercats, right? And we'll confirm that transaction. Using all the technology that we've been working on for the past year or so, it now deploys these onto the blockchain. And if a player were to go to the object part of their wallet, their game objects, look, there's those Ethercats. Now this is the studio's wallet. So until these go out into the game and players get them, it's stored in the studio's wallet. Pretty soon, though, as players start to play the game objects may get spawned or deployed. Anyhow, that is what we call minting. Back to you, Pat.
So now that we've minted a bunch of tokens, we launch Enjin Quest with our initial run of tokens created with the 100,000 Enjin coin we had in our war chest. Now our players could earn Enjin coin-based tokens in our game in a couple of ways. The first way is they could buy Enjin-backed goods for regular money in the usual app stores as in-app purchases. For example, we could sell a 10 Enjin coin item pack for $2.99 as an in-app purchase. 2, players can acquire an Enjin-backed subscription token to have access to content and features. For example, I could purchase the Fire Valley token to gain access to the Fire Valley area of Enjin Quest. 3, players bought the game for a fixed price and have access to tokens as part of their purchase. For example, I bought the game for $50 and can expect to get a certain number of Enjin-backed tokens as dropped loot during gameplay. These are just some examples of how you could monetize your game at Enjin Coin. Let's take a look at some footage of our Enjin Quest GDC demo and how it works while you're playing a game.
Okay. All right, so what we built here to show it, we unrolled this at GDC just recently. It was pretty well received. It was really quite fun to see how surprised all the developers were. Let's pause here, Pat. What this is we made the simplest, absolute simplest possible game. So don't look at the gameplay, because we want you to basically look at what you're doing with the tokens and with Enjin. Okay? So it's a simple, sort of really simple Diablo-type clone. And there's two kind of things going on here. There's objects that are stored on the blockchain. So in our language, they are tokens or game objects. And then there's just regular stuff, like in a regular game. We have these kind of key fragments that are just, you know, the Unity program knows about them, but there's no need to put them on the blockchain. All right, let's roll. The whole goal of this little demo is to get these collect game objects. Oh, look, I found a key. So you can see it pops to the UI. It's just a regular game object, what you guys are all used to all the way through your school and your careers. It's not stored on the blockchain. But now, look, I picked up some gold. This is a blockchain object. It's an in-game gold piece that is what we call a token or game object. Another key fragment. Again, not on the blockchain, but now I think, what is this, an amulet? Yeah. Okay, this is a rare blockchain object. So if this was a real game, that could be something that is traded between players, or it could be sold. And again, you're able to show an in-game wallet if you want to that kind of maps your inventory system to the blockchain. We're going to run around and do a little more of this. Another key, I think. Yeah. And another gold piece.
More gold.
Yeah.
You could never have enough.
Yeah. So maybe some of you are already having some gears go off and think about what you can use this for in your game. Now let's pause here. I want to explain something. At the altar, it's going to ask you to kind of convert these keys that you've collected into a master key, which is a blockchain object. But to do so, you need to spend, in this case, we want the player to spend 1 Enjin coin. But the player started out not having any. So what you're going to do, you can roll forward, is you're going to tell the program, hey, I'm going to melt one of my game objects. I'm going to melt some of my gold into an Enjin coin. Please dissolve it, if you will, and give me an Enjin coin back. Okay? All of these are intended to be examples of something that you could do for your players. Look, it wants me to pay 1 Enjin coin to get the master key. So we ask the player to spend that. Okay? And now it goes to the player's wallet. So now what you're starting to see, by the way, I didn't explain, before we were looking at the company wallet, developer wallet, this is the player's wallet. If I wanted to, I could have given that, if us as game designers allowed it, I could have said, hey, Pat, I'm going to give you my key, right? I could have traded it from my wallet to him directly. So I opened the door with the key, and now inside is a very rare collectible magic sword. It's worth more Enjin coin, it's much rarer, that kind of thing. Let's pause here.
All right, so you play a game for a while. You're getting tokens that are dropped in the game. You bought some item packs. You have a lot of tokens that have you accumulated. The next thing that we see players wanting to do is trading. Because Enjin coin items are Enjin-based tokens, they are not held on game servers. They are securely held in your private Enjin wallet. Trading Enjin quest items, whether it's for Enjin item for item or Enjin coin for item, all have to be confirmed and approved by the player's wallet. This trading is peer-to-peer. There's no central type server or eBay service required. With Enjin coin, players could even put their items into escrow without having to remove them from their wallet. This makes selling unwanted items convenient and secure. I feel that it's important to talk about the difference between an item's intrinsic value and its Enjin coin back value. Remember that legendary Vorpal sword? only took 15 Enjin coin to create, but it could easily fetch a price of 10, 100, or 1,000 times that on the open market. It depends on how popular the item is. It all depends on the utility, rarity, and other game-specific variables. Some games could lose up to 40% of their revenue on gray market trading, so using Enjin coin for trading is a good way for both players and developers to enjoy secure trading. Another secondary revenue stream is that every time a game developer's token is traded between players, the developer could actually charge a transaction fee for those types of operations, which is another revenue stream for players. So we're going to take a look at trading now. Just go to the next video.
Yeah. Okay. So different. We on? Yeah. So what you're now looking at here is a representation of two players' wallets. Okay. So rather than just developer or whatever, it's player to player. And actually, come by the booth or bug me and Pat afterward. This is the first time that anybody, and actually for us even, here at Unite 2018 in Seoul, Korea, the first time we're showing tradable objects in Unity on the blockchain. So what's really interesting is there's an interesting map between the plugin right in Unity and our live wallet. Does that make sense, Pat?
Yeah. So it's kind of the first time we've live demoed the SDK working in Unity in conjunction with the wallet on the floor, just live with our fans.
It's really cool. And so feel free to bug us. We're using video here just to make it easy to see. But come see a live demo. I think in a future show, we might actually create some like game objects that you guys can get the wallet and pass around with each other. So feel free to bug us if you want to see it go. It's as a game designer, I'm really inspired by what I can do with this. Anyhow, let's roll it. What we're seeing here is, of course, the currency part of the wallet. But now I'm going to do trading. So I go to the item section, and I say, hey, Pat, I'm going to send you a game object that's a pizza. It gives you health. Okay, I send Pat a pizza. I, either using the QR code or a different method, I put his public key in. I send him a pizza. I had pizza in Korea yesterday. It was pretty good, actually. Who would have thought that I could get pizza in Korea? It's amazing. Anyhow, I give him my approval with my password, and then you're going to see it's the most fun thing in the world as a player. I really enjoy it. You're going to see Pat's phone. He's going to get a little text message saying, Roger sent you a pizza. And when he gets that text message, it takes about 10 seconds in real life if the network's pretty good. We're always working to make it faster and cleaner. And you're going to see he gets a little notification. Then if he then goes to his item section of his wallet, hey, you got a pizza. So that's really cool. It could have been something that we just give to each other, right? But it could also have been a trade or a sale. I could say, hey, Pat, you got that super rare ultra magic sword or big gun, whatever, and I'll give you $1,000 US for that. I really, really, really want it. And as designers, you can bring the trading into the game as part of the way gameplay works. And then you can monetize a little bit of that. Little bit of that money goes to the developer. Or it could be a free trade. So in short, that's how trading works. It represents it's one of the reasons we're showing you all this other stuff, because this is kind of the heart of what you can do with Enjin.
So after all the trading, there's one other way that players could acquire Enjin coin that we briefly mentioned before, but we didn't really talk about. They could melt unwanted items. As awesome as Enjin Quest is, some people will want to liquidate their collections of items they couldn't sell or trade with. In this process, a player could recycle an item back into Enjin coin. Say you decided to melt one of those legendary Vorpal sword items. If melted, the person would receive 15 Enjin coins back. As you can see, melting is the absolute worst case scenario. It means the digital item's intrinsic value, how much it could get in the open market, is less than its Enjin backed value. In my collectible card game example, Melting an average collection of 400 cards would get you back between $5 and $10 worth of Enjin coin. That said, the melting feature does provide a short sort of insurance and will provide an incentive for the majority of gamers to purchase in-game items which they wouldn't get otherwise. Players could reinvest their Enjin coin in games they are more interested in playing. So now we have a melting demo.
What was the joke about the microphone? This is the lightsaber that was your father's.
Yes.
Okay, so in this case, we're looking at the stuff that's in our wallet. It's like your treasure vault, right? Oh, I don't play that game anymore. I'm going to melt those cute kitties. Are we rolling video yet, Pat? Go for it. I'm going to melt those down. I want to get the Enjin coin, and I don't need them anymore. So the item will be destroyed, right? I recycle it back to Enjin coin. You give it my approvals. By the way, you guys, this all is going to go live for you developers in the Unity Asset Store, and by June something of this year. So really soon, you guys will be able to download this stuff, use it in your games. It's 100% free. We don't charge any transaction fees for it, and we hope it's going to be a great tool. And kind of inspired by the way the Unity guys do it, we're trying to learn how to mentor and explain and give really ace support to go along with it, right? So we're hoping that adoption of this. See, there's 0 of them now in the wallet, and when you come back next time, the object will be gone.
Yeah.
So that's melting, okay? Should we just do Q&A now? Do you have a last bit, Pat?
Yeah, we just have a little last bit. So this is just one type of implementation of Enj in a game. There's many, many other ways that you could do this. If you take a look back and step through the picture and look at it as a whole, the ecosystem is a cycle. It's buying, minting, earning, trading, and melting across thousands of games. I hope you gained a better understanding of Enjin coin, and I encourage you to check it out as a potential blockchain solution for your games. Thank you very much. Hamsahamnida.
Thank you. I think my batteries are dead, so I'm going to have to just talk really loud if it keeps dying. Does anybody, we obviously have enough time. Oh yeah. Does anybody have any questions or ideas they'd like to throw around? We're glad to hear them. Please just put your hand or stand up. Please, sir. Maybe if we need a translator, we'll have one.
아이템 만들 때 엔진 코인을 넣어서 아이템으로 바꾸는데 만약에 어떤 부자가 엔진 코인을 모두 사서 다 아이템으로 바꾸게 되면 어떻게 되나요?
Okay, got it. Thank you.
What was the question?
The question was, if someone very wealthy wants to buy all the game objects in something and control the economy. I think, Pat, you probably have good insights on this.
Theoretically, that is possible. Someone could go in and buy everything out, but as a developer, if you are putting things into the asset store, you're marking them up, just like if you would create like a chair out of wood. You don't just charge for how much wood you use to create the chair. You mark it up. You sell it for several times that amount. So from a developer standpoint, you would become, in that case, you would become wealthy. You could always create new items once they were sold out. So I got new chairs to sell. Theoretically, it's possible, but developers would have to create ways to prevent that from happening. So, for example, in traditional sense, you'd buy card game with booster packs. You don't know which cards you're going to get in each pack. Ways like that to prevent that from happening.
I have a little add to that. It's a translator thing. So as longtime game designers, we're used to people trying to game the system, right? All the time. That's part of our job. We want to take that, something that's potentially abusive, and make it fun. And so the whole idea with this is it gives you guys, the game designers of the future, a lot of power, and you're going to need to work with that to make the game successful. For instance, we have a dear friend of ours that we worked with at BioWare who's pretty high up at Blizzard. And you wouldn't believe with like the Diablo auction house or World of Warcraft, the amount of hacking and abuse and all that is insane. They have a millions and millions of dollars security team just to make it like semi-okay. One thing I like about our stuff is that at least it takes care of that problem and you can get that kind of security even as a small developer, but then the challenge is up to you how you turn that something into fun. As a historical example, I believe Ultima Online was actually the last time that somebody did what this gentleman is suggesting, which is there was some funny loophole in the game. This is what, 20 years ago or something?
Yes.
You could buy some object on one side of the game world, you could buy all of them for a lower price, and then walk all the way, took forever, to the other side and sell them for a lot of money. And somebody did kind of temporarily destabilize the game system, but interestingly enough, that has always been regarded by game designers as like, wow, I wish we could have that, right?
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have. So it actually creates an interesting real-world challenge that I feel like makes the game more real in a way, and then you have to just decide as designers what you're going to do with that. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Please.
많은 개발자들 중에 이런 그 거래를 되게 조심스럽게 생각하는 이유 중에 하나는 리얼머니 트레이딩이나 아니면 머니 런더링 문제가 있어서 이걸 되게 조심스럽게 취급하는데 지금 현재 암호화폐 자체는 법적 지위가 안정되어 있지는 않지만 이게 암호화 자산으로 인정되고 있는데요. 이 경우에는 법적 문제가 생길 수도 있는데 그거에 대해서는 어떻게 지금 대응하려고 하시나요?
So the question was, how are we going to deal with the legalities of tokens and trading and that sort of thing into?
Shall I start?
Yep, sure.
Okay, we also are curious about this. Good question. We think for the most part, it's in pretty good shape. When you look at the way money works with Apple or as far as mobile goes, when you look at the way money goes with something like Apple or Google, typically it's actually it's Google or Apple that processes the money when it comes in. So when somebody wants to buy something as an in-game purchase, right away they take their 30% or whatever, and the rest can go to the developer and become tokens or whatever. So in that case, actually, we believe that they will widely support this, which shouldn't be a problem.
In terms of legal jurisdiction, it depends on the country. It's still kind of up in the air. Part of this innovation is that it's so new that the governments and the banking systems don't really know how to deal with it. The question I always asked is if I have a Superman #1 comic, is that a security? And for a long time, the answer was no, that's not a security. But up until recently, maybe it is a security now. If I could get the comic for 25 cents and then get the artist to sign it and then sell it 50 years later for $5,000, then is it a capital gain or not, right? So it is a bit of a gray area. We don't know exactly how it's going to happen. But as innovators and technology creators, we know that blockchain items are going to become a standard at some point. So we'll just have to see.
We
how
want
it
to be
goes.
we want to be first
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Were you done, Pat?
Nope. Go ahead.
One thing I want to add is very important to us that people do the right thing and they do what's legal in their place, in their country, right? So I think basically as developers, right, do the right thing here. Some places have weird laws, right? Sometimes people have asked us
Well, loot boxes are banned in Belgium right now. So
just if you do the right thing in your place, then you should be good. You know?
one interesting about the blockchain and tokens is that because it's public, you could actually see where all the tokens are.
질문 하나만 더 해도 될까요? 네, 그 최근에 그 이런 암호화폐를 이용한 게임이 애플이나 구글에서 혹시 통과가 된 게 있나요? 왜냐면 제가 아는 사람 중에 이런 종류를 개발한 사람이 있는데 그 애플에서 승인이 안 나서 몇 개월간 지금 게임을 출시를 못 하고 있어서 혹시 사례가 있다면 알고 싶습니다.
Was it a game?
네, 게임이었습니다.
Yeah, that's interesting. Apple isn't entirely so the question was, I know of a developer who made a blockchain-backed game and it didn't get approved to go into the App Store. That's a really interesting question. I don't think there's enough of them out there. I know Spells of Genesis, which is a blockchain-backed game that's been in the App Store for at least a year. So some of them are out there and in the App Store, and some of them are not. So sometimes Apple and Google are not entirely consistent with what they approve or disapprove into their stores.
I'll add to that. I've certainly seen, I've done many mobile products, and sometimes we've seen something random, nothing to do with the blockchain, but it doesn't get approved for some weird reason, right? One time we had something, they didn't like the shape of the font. They said it looked too much like something else. Oh, they didn't actually say. It took us for a while. We couldn't figure out it was the border that they were talking about. So, for sure. But generally, like Pat just said, I do believe that these things are going to be able to be published without a problem. Good questions. And by the way, apologies. Well, mine's probably worse than Pat's, but my Korean is lousy, so thanks for putting up with me.
Same.
Anybody else? Question? Please.
엔진 코인을 현재 가지고 있는 사람인데 그 엔진 코인은 그 현재 지금 마인크래프트에서도 지금 그 쓰이고 있는 부분이 있습니다. 근데 한국에서는 아직 법적으로 10대가 거래를 할 수가 없습니다. 그래서 그 10대층 같은 그런 게임을 많이 즐기는 사용자들이 엔진 코인을 사용하는 것이 한국에서는 현재까지는 불법인데 이거에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시는지 듣고 싶습니다.
So the question was, Enjin coin trading Enjin coin backed things in Korea would be illegal, and a lot of kids play Minecraft, and that's one of the games we're going to be supporting. What do you think about that? I mean, I don't know exactly. I didn't know it was illegal in Korea. For Minecraft items to be traded, only for teenagers trading.
Yeah.
Like any type of trading, or just money trading.
Let me jump at this one. I have some thoughts. So remember that it's up to you as the developer what you use the tools for, right? So you can set things to be like, hey. Actually, we have a number of developers that are wanting to adopt our stuff. They don't want to expose the Enjin coin at all to the players. So, for instance, some people want to do, like, let's just say a massively multiplayer RPG game where everybody sees what the Enjin coin is while they're playing. But most people want the game to just be like Angry Birds or something where you never see, for instance, when you play Angry Birds, once you converted your 3,000 won into 10 stars for extra lives, you never see the money ever again, and you cannot get the money out. So it's possible to use basically, as we showed you, you mint up the objects, but after that, players never see the money.
Yeah,
so it's possible to set it up that way,
Yeah.
and that is one variation that a lot of people actually like.
Yeah, so what you could do is kind of like in World of Warcraft, where you have a bound item that is bound to the player. You could do that with Enjin coin as well. So the people that are running the Minecraft server could prevent these teenagers from trading, but they could still have an Enjin-backed item in their wallet and still receive a number of benefits from having it, except for trading.
Or you could say it's tradable, but it can never be turned into money. It's not tradable for money. It's only tradable for like, hey, Pat, I'll give you my shovel for my deluxe pickaxe. Right?
But he's saying that's illegal.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else? Thank you. Any other questions? Well, I guess we'll wrap it up here. Feel free to come bug us afterward. We have a little time, or come by the booth. We'll show you the trading live. And thanks for having us.
Thank you.